Welcome to Kev Talks, Real World Global Logistics. I'm Kevin Parkerson.
And I'm Kevin Higgins. Together we bring you over 60 years in combined experience in global logistics.
In each episode, we'll dive into the latest industry trends, share practical tips, celebrate wins, and share stories from the logistics front lines, all while helping businesses optimize their logistics operations.
Welcome back to Kev Talks, Real World Global Logistics, the podcast where we dive into the stories, strategies, and smarts behind the global movement of goods. Today, we're diving into the world where ERP systems meet real-world supply chain transformation. Our guest today is Dani Kaplan, a man who has been ahead of the curve for over 4 decades. Dani's the founder of SMC Data Systems, a consulting firm he started back in 1980 with nothing more than grit, integrity, and a handshake. Since then, he's become a trusted ERP advisor and one of the most respected names in warehouse automation and mid-market ERP software. For more than 25 years, he's represented VAIs, ERP, WMS solutions, helping manufacturers and distributors and food industry leaders streamline operations and gain critical visibility in an increasingly complex global supply chain.
But Dani's story isn't just about software. It's about resilience, re-innovation, and real-world impact. A survivor of a bombing in Jerusalem at the age of 4, Dani has turned adversity into drive. He's a published author, a mentor to job seekers and career changers, and a storyteller at heart. Whether he's writing fiction, capturing the perfect photo, or building solutions that keep supply chains running at 99% accuracy. He's received multiple awards from Stratus Business Intelligence and Select Hub, been published in outlets like Global Trade and CEO Online, and continues to be a go-to voice on ERP strategy, inventory control, and the future of warehouse technology. Today, we'll talk about how to future-proof your logistics through intelligent ERP systems, what companies can do to thrive despite supply chain disruptions, and why. And after 40 years in the game, Dani believes technology should serve the people, not the other way around. So grab your notepad. This one's packed with insight, heart, and a lifetime of lessons. Welcome, Dani.
Thank you very much. Great seeing both of you.
Yeah.
You too. Well, Dani, we're really excited to have you here on the podcast. I know the listeners in the audience are just going to be thrilled to listen to your story. And let's just kind of start there. You've had, an amazing life thus far. Can you maybe, and I'm going to say briefly because this probably could be a series, a couple of stories or a couple of podcasts, but give our listeners a little bit about your story, who you are.
Well, starting my career in 1980, basically I'm a self-made person. We've seen some difficult time in my life and had people who have helped me. And my famous last word is, one does not forget where he came from. So what we encounter in today's reality, if we put away technology, supply chain, and tariff and all that, the human factor, people in their 60s, VPs, executives, etc., get laid off. And then they're not being hired because they feel that they're too expensive to be hired. They rather hire the young generation, which are transactional, stay on the job 2, 3, 5 years, and up to the next situation. So I get those resumes of people who I never met, I don't know, and I send to my entire extensive database with a short note. Include the resume of the name and whatever. And in one sentence, as a self-made person who've ridden the life roller coaster, I don't forget where I came from. And by now I would say 10 people either got jobs or got affiliation with consulting firm that's part of my database. And as a rule of thumb, I refuse to work with transactional people or with users. I like to build relationships. Mm-hmm. If there is no relationships, there is nothing to talk about.
Yeah, Dani, that's what I loved when I first met you and you started talking about the relationships and your approach to relationships. That's when I knew that we had to have you on the podcast. That's a foundation of what Kevin Higgins and I have done in our careers, and I love your approach. But maybe take us back to maybe your early vision behind SMC Data Systems. Like you said, back in 1980, what was the early vision?
In 1980, I had a partner who is, and unfortunately was the wrong person. We modified the IBM Mapic software, which was the IBM manufacturing software. And the two major software in the 80s were DMAS, which is distribution, and Mapax manufacturing. And both of them has a nasty bug in it. If you made a mistake, you have to restore last night backup and re-enter your entire day data. Nobody would modify it. Then a program was 1,000 line, 2,000 line. A big program was 10,000 line. The IBM was 100,000 line, 200,000 line. And I found out where it freezes. So I created a utility. You go into record number 10, with an X in the middle. You take the X out and you're back in business. So I'll tell you an interesting story. I was swimming in a pool on 56th Street and 6th Avenue in Manhattan. And the lifeguard taps my shoulder. Your name Kaplan? Yes. Why? Your wife is on the phone. Those days, answering service stopped at 5 o'clock and goes to my house. So at 6 o'clock, I get a call from my wife. I was concerned. I had an old dog and two old cats we had. Ring a Spaniel, told she I miss cats. I asked her, Ellen, what's the matter? And she said, oh, Jean Patou, high-end perfume company, $400 ounce perfume, just called. The software froze, the DMAS. And IBM tech system engineer came in and told me you have to go back to last night backup. So I told the lifeguard, would you mind make a local phone call? I said, sure, go ahead. So I told Jim, on the menu you have my utility. Okay, I have. Click on it, I did. Click in record number 10, I did. Okay, halfway in the middle you see an X. I see. Take it out. I did. Close it. You're banking business. Yes. Jim, I'm freezing. Back to the pool. P.S. The next morning, I shop with Jean Patou. They give me a shopping bag full of perfume, cologne, soap. What I'm going to do with it? Give it to Ellen, your wife. Thank you. Right. That's nice.
Yes.
We want to take you to a nice lunch. That would be nice. Where do we go? Waldorf Astoria, the pool room. Guys, don't be impressed. The food is mediocre. If you want to meet Bill Gates, you go there. And the prices are through the roof. So that's my history. In 85, I was attending IBM seminar, roundtable seminar 4 days, met the executives. And those days, IBM wore black suit, white shirt, and black tie. And the organizer was not happy that I brought my wife. So, we don't like your spouse to come to the welcome dinner. And so I hate to tell you, my wife has 2.5 master's degree, works with retarded children. She hates IBM and business partner, pushy bastard. So I made the IBM executives, and I tell you what's wrong with the software. And they tell me, I had a list that long. Would you mind if we have the list? Sure, take it. What can I do for you? That's prior to the internet and all that. I had my client thank you note behind my resume. Give me a letter I was here. So the executives say, I can't do that. We can't do the role, we have problem, and I ask that person helping. Okay, have it. So he asked the organizer, what can I do for him? He brought his spouse against my advice. He said, great. Give him $2,000, let's go shopping, icing, restaurant. We're going to keep him hostage 4 days, 12 hours a day to discuss our issues. That's my fancy background. Another life, another time.
Yeah. So Dani, you built a consulting business around handshakes. So talk to us maybe a little bit about...
I've done $50 million a handshake in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. So what does trust mean in business today?
It's a different world today. I would like to do business on a handshake. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. We bought our apartment in Manhattan, 950 square foot, renovated 1 bedroom facing the East River on a handshake. I spoke with a psychiatrist for 2 hours, and I told him I don't see my right eye, but I drove a million miles. I photographed all that. He said it goes against all my medical books. After 2 hours speaking, he told me the reason why it's not in the market, because the next door neighbor has a dog that can't flee up. I told him I had bad news for you. I like dogs better than people, and this is my dog, I told him. He said, my God, it looks like my missus that died 2 years ago. I asked him, how much do you want? He said, $800,000. I told him, broker is 5%, $760. We shook hands, and we closed the deal. That on trust. 10 years ago. 2000, we had a house in Vermont for 33 years, a log house with 11.5 acres. Nice. The trip to Vermont was 10-hour round trip, became too much for my wife.
Sure. So
we decided to sell it. The first buyer, I made a mistake talking to him, was a retired executive who tells me, I have 2 dogs, and all my life I wanted a log house, and I always travel. and I love your house, and I'm going to walk in the dogs in the woods and everything. And I gave him a gardener to cut lanes in the wood. And then he tells me, I got a veteran mortgage, which makes no sense for me. There's no down payment. And the bank devalued the house by $30,000. So we had a very good lawyer. And the lawyer told him, put the money in escrow, the 30 grand. He refused to do it. Thank you very much. Adios. And next door I have from Manhattan 2 crooks who tells us, we would like you to pay the water bill because you've been there 33 years. And the lawyers say to the real estate, upgrade the down payment from 25 to 10,000 to go back to Manhattan, from for sale. They wire the money the same night. He taught me a good lesson. My days of a handshake are over. We gave the lawyer a 45 by 25 frame shadow box photograph my wife took. His wife could not make up her mind when she likes it because she likes it so much. And all the other photographs, instead of giving it to the local gallery who would decide to sell it, we gave it to the Humanitarian Society so they can build houses with it. What we do often when somebody has a charity, or if you have it, we provide landscape photographs that are being sold in a silent auction, and there is about $2,000. Ellen submitted 4 very large photographs that the Susan Collins Cancer Society was sold in 5 minutes for $5,000. So the human factor is very important in our life.
Mm-hmm.
There is life beside business and transaction.
That's awesome, and that's lost in a lot of time, Danny, in today's environment. You were talking earlier about those of us that have been in the industry a little bit longer. I just read an article today about people not hiring legends, people that are of my age, right? And so they'd rather hire younger because they'll work harder and they'll pay them less. But the value that somebody who's been in the business for as long as we have brings to the table, because we're constantly solving problems and we've seen things that, that people haven't seen before. So I appreciate that. That brings it back to, again, relationships and that human touch. And man, I just appreciate your story so much because it is just so important still today.
I believe in a relationship. The company I represent for 25 years plus, we are friends. The CEO, the executive VP, we are friends. I just had a big deal, $65,000, $165 million beverage distributor. I met the CEO and the executive, and he told me, I bought a 200,000 square foot warehouse and I need warehouse software. I told him, why are you doing it? He said, I'm afraid of being disruption. No disruption, build a test environment, and all the work is being done there. So he told me, you sound like an honest man. Give me a demo. So I should hope I'm honest. I've done 15 on a handshake and my executive in the 80s, 90s. We gave him a demo. He loves the demo. The executive VP, my friend, gave it. Give me a proposal and sharpen your pencil. Morris, CEO, let's start from the beginning. You don't buy a car in the showroom. We want your business requirements and simple data. Multiple demos, one department at a time.
Mm-hmm.
P.S. The executive invited me to his son bar mitzvah, and I had dinner with the CEO and the executive. 11 o'clock at night, the executive tells me, I will drive you home. It's less than a mile. So, Morris, I will take a taxi or Uber. No, Dani, I'm going to drive you. He called his wife. I'm driving home, and then I'll come home. He said, Dani wrote 4 books. He's an avid reader. She wants to read your book. I send the books. Yeah. It's relationships. It's all Kevin and Kevin. It's all
100%.
about the relationship. Unfortunately, in today's reality, they give you a slideshow demo. The CFO likes the financial. The IT manager feels it will look good on the next job. And the decision maker feels is I cannot go with the wrong plate. Wrong. $300,000 later, they find they made a mistake. The human factor is gone, and I don't care what industry you are. If you buy a car, or if you go to the store to buy something, or if you buy software, there is no human interaction. And that's what people in our age, the 60s, they feel they are too expensive. But they don't realize that the younger generation will be in a job 2, 3, 4 years and help to the next opportunity.
Yeah. Well, Danny, I definitely, I think, Kevin, we'll bring Danny back and we'll just have a relationship, Kev Talks,
100%.
Masterclass.
Yeah.
But, right. I think we could definitely do that. But let's talk, Danny, let's talk ERP, enterprise resource planning. How has that evolved? What have you seen, how that has evolved to support mid-market manufacturers, distribution, and food businesses in your career?
Couple of issues. Today's M&A world, a distributor, a manufacturer, or a distributor, manufacturer, a manufacturer. The lawyers worried about the contract. The accountants worry about the numbers. and the banks worry about the money. They all forget one simple thing, integration issues. So you have multiple software now, ERP software, multiple vendors and integration issues. One software has an upgrade, broken link. AT&T blame Verizon, Verizon blame T-Mobile, and T-Mobile blame God. In the meantime, the inventory is out of whack. A good example on my website, there's a company called Romark, worldwide manufacturer robotics distributors. 3 systems. Raw material and finished good dropped to 80%. Today, with the company representing VI, is 99.99 accuracy and 65 locations worldwide went live without a hitch. The video is on my website. For smaller companies, they face a major issue. They are very good small software houses, excellent software houses. I wrote an article in LinkedIn, 4,000 readers, 60 likes, 15 reposts. How to buy software. You make a shopping list, like going to the supermarket, based on the user requirement. Then in the demo, you make sure they address the shopping list, sort of, or requirement list. If they don't do it, cut the demo short. If you like the demo, 2 issues. Number 1, your people can use the software, or it's too sophisticated. You give a teenager a Ferrari, it's a tragedy on the highway. Number 2, they all will give you the best referrals. You speak to 3 people, CEO, CFO, and IT manager. And the major question is, how is the support? When you had a problem, how long it took you to fix it? When I had my consulting firm, I preached to my people. As a kid, I was supposed to be a mechanic, even though I have one I shouldn't have been. If we get stuck on the highway, we'll take a mechanic 5 minutes to fix it, but we are stuck. If our client has a problem with the software, we put them out of business. So our priority number 1, if a client has an issue, fix it. That's why asking the 3 people, how is the support? How long it took the software house, hotline support, to respond to you to fix the issue. If you have to call the Philippines or India or someplace remotely, it's a huge issue. You must have support in the country. We at the company represents have 5 locations nationwide and 24/7 support. It's a major, major issue. I don't care how good is the software deal. I don't care how good the discount is, because if you don't go support, you're on the highway and the mechanic did not show up.
Yeah, I love that. So Dani and KP, I apologize for taking us on a side road here, but Dani, are you keeping up, or have you done any research on what they're calling no code, low code platforms now that integrate with, ERPs and other things like that, whether it may be transportation management or anything else like that? Do you have an opinion on that?
I'm being approached by people day in, day out who wants to work with VAI. And I had one yesterday who is an accounting firm, and he has EDI, and he would like to meet with VAI. And my approach is, when in a bar, everybody loves a pretty woman. And I get those offers day in, day out. And number 1 is a 1-hour Zoom meeting, and let's discuss life and support and values in life. If I get a gut feeling, it's a start and the end of the meeting. If I feel it's a good, viable situation of a relationship person, I tell him, send me an extensive email, what you do, and I will set a demo with the vice president. And on my website, there's a short video by my vice president describe the entire JAWS VAI application. So watch the video on my website, and then send me a description what your company does and how you support the client. That I sent to my friend, let's call him the Pope, the top person in VAI, executive VP, and he will decide if you're a valuable partner or you're another tire kicker. Relationship, and long-term relationships. It's priority number 1.
So Dani, when should a growing company start thinking about ERP integration and automation?
Day 1, right away. There's a lot of very good, low-end, inexpensive software. But make a shopping list or requirement list, whichever you prefer to call it. Make sure the demo fits your requirement list. Make sure your people can use the software or not have difficulty using it. And then support issue. I don't care how cheap or inexpensive it is. If the support is not there, walk away. But in the long run, you're going to have business disruption. And that should be a day 1, because you must know what your net inventory is. I call the net inventory, I compare it having a checkbook and a bank account. I don't care how many checks you wrote, how much money you have in the bank, how many checks you did not clear the bank. I don't care what your net inventory is. what's your inventory? What's your net inventory? Net inventory, what you allocate future production and future orders. And what's left after you allocate for production future orders. Because two things will happen. If you don't have the information, production will come to a standstill. Volvo and Telsa in 2024, router closed in Europe the operation because of supply chain issue, Red Sea. Your orders, your production will come in late. Over time, you can raise the price to the customer. So your net profit is lower. You ship the product late. You're going to get it back with penalties. Your receivable will not be paid until you give the credits. Your accounting overworked with the credits. You miss the vendor early payment. And the worst part of your warehouse is overstocked now. And labor costs bring it in. They need more warehouse space. And our friendly banks, when you see you have inventory, are compared to Arabic horses, are skittish. Wow, if you go out of business, we own the inventory. We are in the money business, not the inventory issues. So having the knowledge of what your inventory is, it's a must. The next issue is the vendor. The cheapest vendor is not the best vendor. Prior to Colvet, dropshipper warehouse or the customer, they give me the best price. Today is a different story. Reliable timetable. If the vendor is not reliable delivering the inventory, production disruption, order cancellation. And the next issue is analytic. It's very important, AI has it, to have the IBM Cognos Analytic bolt into the software. Pie chart, graphs, number, across the whole company. Inventory, customer performance, payment performance, civil performance, payable performance. And if the bank was your inventory or your receivable, give me 5 minutes. Click an icon, create a spreadsheet, and give it to the bank. Remember, we are dealing in uncertain reality. Daily bankruptcies and financial institutes are very scared. So real-time information is essential if you just started your business or if you are a mature 60-year business. And it's applied to oblige to both factors.
That's great advice.
Well, listen, Dani, I want to pivot a little bit away from ERPs. I think we probably could make a whole episode on it as well. But the short period of time that I've really known you, I've been able to tell that mentorship and reinvention, are really important and really are a core to who Dani is. So beyond business, you help people reinvent themselves. Why is it that that type of work is important to you?
Well, why it's important to me? Relationship. I don't retire. People ask, why don't you retire? Because I would drive my wife crazy. But I enjoy my relationship with my client, like the one that big deal we just closed. We went to his warehouse in New Jersey, and it was a 1:00 meeting. He wanted us to the warehouse, and 2-hour traffic. We showed up 1:30, and he said, "Have you had lunch?" We said, "No, we didn't have lunch." And he told us, "There are 6 boxes of kosher cake. Have lunch." And then he takes the cake home. Relationships. It's a commodity that's not there today anymore. I had a Zoom session today with a person who deals with a large union and construction consultant and warehouses and everything. We spoke for 30 minutes exactly. Dani is Manhattan also. We have the same value in life. I would like to meet you for lunch. We're having lunch next Wednesday. He's a year older than me. It's relationships. And he has the same values in life as I do. And we discussed the difference between our current generation and the previous generation, which is most unfortunate. Lack of values.
I think that's, KP, that's one of the reasons that we do this, and one of the reasons that, we go to some of the conferences that we go to. I mean, other than getting good trade data and other things out of those conferences, for me, I love what Dani says, just like relationships and there's no replacing the feeling from a good relationship, whether it's with your mate, your spouse, your best friend, or your siblings, or anything else like that. And I love that. And we've, Kevin Parkerson and I, Dani, have a really good friend, and she's in the coaching business, the life coaching business. And she talks about the human side of the business, a lot. And so it's a constant reminder for us to remember that. And just, we're all people, and we have certain, innate desires to have relationships, good, effective relationships. So that's an incredible answer. It's like, why you do it? Well, it's because of the relationships.
Yep. So Dani, you're obviously a great mentor, but you're also a writer and a photographer. I'd love for you to share a little bit about those passions I've got actually one of your books here. We're going to talk about it in just a second. But you've written a number of books. Share with the audience a little bit about that journey and what you've written and what inspires you with all of that. And then photography. Like I said, we probably could do a writing episode, a photography episode, a relationship, ERP. We're just gonna go on and on and on. But talk a little bit about your writings.
Well, we'll start in 1948 when I was 4 years old, mortally wounded in a bombing. My skull was fractured, and my father saw my name in the street as a dead. 58 people died, and did not think I would make it through the night. I don't see my right eye, but I compensate for it. I drove 1,000,000 miles. I photographed, I skied, I canoed, and I've been working since the age of 10. Another life, another time. Instead of going to school, I had to work in my father's shop and deliver the work to the next town in Tel Aviv. On the way back, I stopped in a ruined Arabic called Manshia, climbed on a big rock, walked between unexploded mortars, climbed on a big rock, and looked at the sun going down. The tide came in, and it covered the rock halfway up, and I walked between the mortar town. And 10 years old. What do I know, right? No flashlight, nothing. And then I wrote home. Where have you been for 5 hours? Never mind. They thought I'm a dreamer. I should go to work instead of getting an apprentice, a plumber or a carpenter. My sister-in-law was 18 years old, 19 years old. She told my father, I've been working since the age of 12 because my father went to fight the Nazis and ended up in a German prison camp. I don't want Dani to go to work. I will pay his tuition. So I went to vocational school, which I shouldn't have been there. And instead of doing homework, I did my course for my father, who had a clothing factory. At the age of 30, Ellen convinced me, my wife, who had been with for 51 years, we have no children, convinced me to go to college. Spent 2 years reading literature. Dr. Stern, the Dean of Brooklyn College for Literature, every semester, 3 weeks, 6 book comparative contrast paper. Camus, Dostoevsky, Faulkner, Robert Penn Warren. Then I wrote a computer essay, went to Brooklyn Polytechnic, got 50 credit for computer, 40 credit for the foreign literature, the Relief Encyclopedia, Jewish Study, Jewish Theological Seminar, 6 photography, and they kicked me out with 156 credit. That's my whole fancy education. I worked for a job for 10 years. He paid my undergraduate. He was currently within my family, the president, the CEO. He said, Dani, I don't care what you study, just get good grades. I had to leave because Dr. Flynn from Brooklyn Polytechnic told me, Dani, your boss is holding you behind the market. And I ran the department. I told him, I have to leave, Mr. Khan. He sent me a thank you note with a $1,000 check. There's a note in it. Dani, if you want to come back, pick up the phone and call me. Took me 3 years to catch up with the market, modify my IBM Apex, and then I met the executives. I was in my own business. He died. I found about it, showed up at the funeral. His wife and his daughter crying, hugged me and kissed me and said, Dani, he spoke about you 2 weeks ago. He said he made one mistake, letting you go and not firing your boss. It's relationships. A second relationship, I had a client who taught in Columbia management and Brooklyn College accounting. He was a tough SOB. If an A student got an A minus, they gave him B plus. If a B student got B plus, give him A minus. So Harry, your class must be half empty. On the contrary, it's packed. If I can drag my ass to school at night, I expect the most of my students. He had advanced me $30,000 on future orders, of future work. We had dinner once a month. Relationship. So Dani, I can teach you accounting. I can teach you management. I can teach you business. I cannot help you with one thing. Your partner, who is a bum, he's a womanizer, he's a spender, he's going to bring you down. You're going to lose your co-op, you're going to lose your house in Vermont, you'll lose your house in the Cayman Island. It took 2 years to say goodbye to my partner. I wrote him a check for $13,000 so he can pay his mortgage. And I had debts of $360,000, which I paid. No lawyer, no settlement, no court. It took me 6 years to do it. He lost his house. For a year I got calls, collection agency. Where is? I have no idea. And then I went to Alaska on a trip, 11 days on a boat, and I looked at the beautiful glaciers and the wildlife, the photographers on my website, and asked myself, what the hell I need people who get paid $100,000, take exam from my partner, show up 11 o'clock in the morning to work, and do me a favor working. So I had a open standing above Vomtag, VICIO, to give up everything, and they do everything for me. I spoke to my teacher. She was the photography teacher. She was a therapist who treated women with breast cancer. Terminal, couldn't take it anymore, became a photographer, the master photographer, was booked in advance. Then she done his picture to the boat captain. He was a professor in a high-end university in California, head of a biology department. Wrapped his guy around a tree one night, 12 to recuperate, showed up in half a day, quit his tenure, packed his office, and ran a boat around Alaska. She was very spiritual, Dani. Jump into faith, and you find your safety net. I landed in New York, told Ellen, I'm finished with the business. I told my friend Joe, the executive vice president, tell Bob I'm coming. Hold on, Bob is coming. To have one prerequisite. You hire Chris, my associate, same salary, same benefits. He left July 31st, started August 1st with the same thing, still there, project manager. And I gave him $2,000 bonus. People ask me why. Mr. Khan and Harry, my client. One does not forget where he came from.
Holy cow.
There are certain things in life that are more important than money. You need the human factor in a relationship.
Yep.
You're speaking my language. I love it.
That sums it up right there.
I really do. So Dani, let's talk about your love of dogs. If we could, and again, I'll bring back up your book. Let's talk a little bit about Brandy. Maybe tell us a story about what Brandy has meant to you, and just dogs in general. This is the dog section.
The sad part of my life. My sister had a brain tumor, 27 years old, 6 terminal operation. Eventually she died. And my ex-wife, I was married for 3 years, told me on the phone in the middle of 6-hour surgery, we're getting divorced. A year later, she tried to come back, lady, keep walking. For 5 years, I was a very bitter person. Any woman I slept with, I told her, don't get attached to me and put your clothes on the dresser because Brandy is a very possessive dog. Brandy was the only thing to come home when I came from the hospital for 5 years. When I met Ellen, I told her I missed something out of life. So we traveled 5 weeks every year for 10 years. With a tent and Brandy nationwide, Oregon coast, Washington coast, Canada, Nova Scotia, and Brandy was a swimmer in the water all day long. The picture in the book was a glacier lake. She was there in the water all day long, air country. Barbecue at 6 o'clock, dinner time, and she came out. Very possessive dog. I had a Chevy Nova with a bench seat. She tried to push Ellen out to the back seat. The compromise was 3,000 miles cross country. Brandy said between us. When Brandy died at the age of 15 and a half, I couldn't let go, which was a mistake. I was never able to get another Springer Spaniel. When I see one in the street, my heart skipped a jump.
Yeah. Wow. I've got to read his book. I got to read his book now.
It was a friendship.
Yeah.
It was a friendship with a dog. And you asked about why my passion for photography. I photograph since the age of 10. But what I do today is 1954 Leica, black and white. My Nikon camera is in the closet, don't touch it. It's very easy to take, you have on my website, black and white photographs. That's what my client got, the bridge in black and white. It's very easy to do a photo picture. You keep clicking and you pick the best one. Out of a roll of 36 exposures, if I have 6 to 8 photographs I like, I'm lucky. Because in black and white, it's very, very good or it's very, very bad. There's no in between.
I love black and white photos, and I don't fancy myself a photographer, but I've been taking pictures since I was 14 years old, and I love, like, on my wall in my house I have pictures that I've taken. They're mostly landscapes. I got fascinated with rivers and things like that. But the moon is the one thing that I will always take a picture of. If I can get any full moon that's out, I'm out on the front steps taking a picture of the moon. And once I learn how to do that, it's fascinating for me. That and sunsets. I do love sunsets.
Dani, do you have any pictures of the moon?
Picture of what?
Of the moon? Do you do any? Have you done any photography of the moon, like Kevin was talking about?
Not on the moon, because you need a very, very long lens.
I tried, Kevin. I thought maybe we could get you a photo that he took. Maybe we'll have to go take one now.
You need a good long lens. There's no doubt. So 300 millimeter and up. So.
Very long, very, very long lens on a tripod and a cable release, and it's more. I've taken many, but never got good result and scrapped it. I guess you'd say I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah,
when it comes to photography, at least.
All right, Dani. So I know you're in the New York City area. You've shared with me a couple of stories before of walking your dog early in the morning, and if we have time, I'd love to hear some of those. But tell us a little bit about maybe some of your favorite spots in the city, and maybe even some of your favorite restaurants in the city.
In the city, my favorite spot is about 10 minutes walk or 7 minutes walk to the East River, where we have about 8 dogs every morning meeting off the leash. I have a German Shepherd now that we adopted there a year and a half ago. She's 9 years old. Our other dog died. My wife was sick, and the breeder told me that he's a 5-year-old shepherd that he cannot breed, and would I like to have it? And I promised to photograph. She was a short dog, and he sold his puppies for $4,000. So I promised to photograph his dogs. I found out she was 8 years old, not 5 years old. He lied to me, and I refused to photograph his dogs because of it. I don't appreciate unethical people. It took us 6 months to get used to us. She's 9 years old now, and she's behind me sleeping now, watching me. Morning walk to the river, chasing 8 dogs. I will send you guys. I'll show the pictures. She's a ham.
So where's your favorite place to eat?
Restaurant is a Lebanese restaurant, 5 minutes, 51st and First Avenue. And the reason why I like it is relationship. This winter, I had 2 bad viruses. So I called the owner and I told him, I need to order food. He told me, you sound horrible. So no shit kidding, I lost my voice. So he told me, what do you like? I told him, I would like salmon. Ellen's vegetarian, so give me baba ganoush and hummus and Leban. He said, okay, I'm sending it over. He sent me a salmon this big.
Wow.
Took me 2 days to eat it. I cut it in half. A big bowl of soup because I lost my voice, and dessert on the house. When I come there, hello, Mr. Kaplan. I don't even call for reservation. I just walk in. Pick up a table you like. Chips.
I love that. Yeah.
It's the only restaurant we eat in the neighborhood.
Back to the human.
And talk about a relationship, 30 years client ago that I helped her go to the next level, contact me on LinkedIn. 30 years later, guess what? I found you. She came to New York with her husband. We had Ellen's 60th birthday downstairs for 2 hours.
Wow.
30 years later. I had 3 people who contact me. 2 people after 30 years, 1 after 20 years. It's a factor that's missing in today's life.
Yeah, we need to bring it back.
Yeah, that's why I'm very picky who I'm associated with.
Same here.
Well, thank you for associating with us.
Yeah, no kidding.
On this podcast, that's for sure. One of the last questions I wanted to ask you was, if you weren't in tech, what would you be doing? And I kind of think I know. It'd be something in writing or photography. But if it's not those, what would you be doing if it wasn't in tech and supply chain?
Probably write and photograph.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yep.
And I still write a lot, but not fiction anymore. But on my website, there is a bunch of, on the writing page, there is a bunch of short stories. And my favorite story is called Betrayal, which start with 3 young people, 2 boys and a girl. They grow up together. They get married, and she has an affair with the other boy. And it starts in a courtroom, and it ends up comes home and finds her in bed with his boyfriend. And broken relationship, and what it cost to the 3 people. 3 broken life. And there's 2 dogs in the story. That's my favorite story. It's about trust and relationship.
We're going to put the website in the notes of the podcast, and I would highly recommend to our listeners to go check this out.
Relationships.
And you'll hear a lot about, you'll hear these stories. You'll hear a lot more. There are links to some great photography, and you will see and hear what Dani is talking about, relationships getting weaved in and out of all of the stories that he has about his life and that he's written about. So,
and another story recommends the priest who we met in Nova Scotia, a deacon who could make up his mind to become a priest or go to his father's business, spent 7 days talking to me, discussing the conflict, and he became a priest, ambassador to the Vatican, and taught in Minnesota in a college.
Can't wait to have Dani back. Man, this is going to be great.
It was a pleasure talking to you guys. Really,
it's our pleasure.
It was a fun meeting.
Yeah, this is great, Dani. I appreciate you sharing just your stories, and I could really talk with you and listen to you for quite a long time. But we'll make sure 100%. That we bring you back. But also, I want our listeners to make sure that they visit the website and really learn a lot more about you and your story. So inspirational. Phenomenal photography. Great writings, plenty of other books besides, another plug for this one, on brandy. There are plenty of other writings that I highly recommend that you explore.
My other books are all about relationships.
They are.
One is two women relationship going for like 50 years. Second one is the Vietnam War, two friends relationship. And a third one is three women relationships.
Yeah.
I had a lot of women friends.
Every writing has a relationship theme, and some very direct and some somewhat subtle. So, yeah. Well, listen, Dani, this is great. Thanks again for joining us on Kev Talks Real World Global Logistics. Your insights today remind us the success in this industry and in life is about more than just moving goods from point A to point B. It's about moving people, ideas, and businesses forward with purpose, passion, and a little bit of grit. So for everyone listening, let Dani's story be a reminder. Stay curious, stay bold, and never stop challenging the status quo, because that's where the innovation begins. So until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in global logistics. We'll see you in the next episode of Kev
Thanks,
Talks.
Dani.
Thanks, Dani.
It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Kev Talks, Real World Global Logistics. If today's discussion inspired you, don't forget to follow, subscribe, rate, and share our podcast.
Remember, every great journey in logistics starts with a single step forward. Let's continue working together to transform the industry.